All right, guys, it's time to dive into the 327 and start replacing some stuff with some better parts. So we have a Edelbrock 2701 intake manifold and an Edelbrock 1406 carburetor that's going to be replacing the stock, as you can see, very stock manifold and the stock quadrajet under this intake, which is kind of hard to see. But yeah, so we're just gonna have to take off these hoses, drain the coolant. We're gonna have to mark where the timing is. I want to retime it anyway, so I'm gonna probably just kind of ignore that step, but I want to see where it's at in the first place and then take off the vacuum lines, and it should be pretty straightforward. So hardest part is going to be draining this. Try not to make a mess. So let's go ahead, get to work, and start tearing this apart. All right, well, here's where we're at now. We got the intake off, and now we just need to clean all of this surface area here to mate the intake manifold gasket right here. Yeah, so we need to clean all this stuff, try to clean out all the gunk out of here. I don't know what this is. I'm sure I'll figure it out. But yeah, so let's go ahead, clean all this up, and then we're gonna be putting RTV along the china walls here, and then the gasket with some little bit of sealant on the edges, and we can go ahead and get the new setup all in here. And here we got the new Edelbrock gasket and carburetor and bolt kit. So let's get this stuff all put together. All right, so we got the Edelbrock intake on, it's ready to go. So now we need to transfer over the little fittings like this, that. I already put the bracket on because I needed to go on earlier. So yeah, we need to get these holes covered up here, get them all screwed in, and then we're gonna put the carb on. And after that, we'll be pretty much done. We just gotta connect everything up. So let's go ahead and transfer over some of these parts right here. All right, so we got everything mounted up. We got the carb on, and I'm waiting on the thermostat housing and these ports because they're just really crusty and I want to clean it. And I also need an not the intake gasket, a thermostat gasket for that. And this isn't coming off and this is crusty, so I want to get a new one anyway. So I'm gonna try to find new fittings for that. And then the Edelbrock comes with these two extra fittings. I'm not sure what they're for. I'm gonna have to look them up, but I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna be blocking these off. So those will have to get plugs for those, and I think that's it. Oh yeah, and the back of the Edelbrock has that port right there. And my quadrajet is pressed in and not threaded, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to find a new one of those. So after all that stuff is here, I'll go ahead, mount this up, and then get to the finishing up the carburetor and all that good stuff. So for now, we are at a stopping point, and we're gonna clean up this mess that I made. So let's get to it after the new parts get in. Okay, so now I have the lines all mated up, and I have the hose clamps on and the carburetor basically all bolted up with all the fittings I need. I have those back there all ready to go. So now it is time for the timing. Now to set the initial timing, there's a million videos on it, but basically just set it on TDC. You can look at a video how to do that, but the way I did it was bumping it until both the valves, the exhaust valve closed open, and then the intake valve closed open. Stop there, get the TDC mark on the pulley, and then you point this right at the second bolt here and drop it in just like this, as long as that cog in the bottom, as long as you aligned it in like an 11 to 5 position, just like this. So you have to stick a screwdriver down there, align it, and then you point this right at that second bolt, drops right in, and apparently that's at TDC. So hopefully that's good. I'm gonna go ahead, bolt everything up, and then we can do the final timing with the timing light. Motor's looking good. I want to drain the oil before I go ahead and start it up. So I'm gonna drain out this old oil, and I got some nice Lucas classic car oil. Let me show you that real quick. There we go. It's got high zinc, which is good for the flat tappet cams in these old Chevys. So we're gonna go ahead, drain this, put this in, put the new oil in, and then we'll go ahead and start it up. So let's get to it. All right, well, as you can hear, we got her running. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and go over everything and make sure it's all good, and I'll get back to the video in a second. One thing I almost forgot to mention was the electric choke. And now to wire this up, you just go ahead and get the power here, which is the upper one, and just go ahead and switch it on to a switched power, which is the key on position. And I went ahead and did that to the distributor power right here, which is this side of it, on the battery label right here, the bat. I just went ahead and spliced into that wire right there, and that was super easy. And the ground, I went ahead and did that one, which I'll put in the clip right here. For the ground, I'm just using that little guy right there, just crimped on a little wire that I had, and I'm just gonna run it just like that right there. So super short, simple. Here we are with our finished ground, nice and simple and clean. Looks pretty good. So let's get the power wired up and get that finished. And that was it. So here is the finished product. I went ahead and put a spacer, which you can kind of see under there, to space up the intake from the Edelbrock so it doesn't hit the fuel line or any of that stuff. I just went ahead and got that from AutoZone. I also got the plugs for the intake right here and this fitting right here from AutoZone. I think these are from Spectre. Super cheap, and they work perfect. So that was all good. And then I got the filter on there, so it's all done and ready to go. So carburetor's done. I'm really happy with it. I'll get some running clips of it, and yeah, it runs great. Item mixture needs to be adjusted a little bit, but overall definitely runs a lot better, breathes really good, and I definitely notice a power gain from the intake and carb. I think it breathes much better than the stock setup, so super happy.